where game day coverage starts today at 1 on the home of the Brewers, News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
Good morning, 10:02. We have 62 degrees, a slight chance of showers today, partly sunny, high 75. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. Inflation at the wholesale level eased a bit last month as measured by the Producer Price Index. Here's ABC's Jim Ryan.
The cost of goods and services up the supply chain from consumers declined to 2.6% on a yearly basis in August from the 3.3% recorded in July. The Bureau of Labor Statistics attributes much of the decline to a drop in the cost of machinery and equipment wholesaling.
Economists had been expecting an increase of 0.3% following July numbers that came in much higher than predicted. Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction has lost some federal grants on Friday. DPI was informed by the U.S. Department of Education that grants going to fund special education instructors and programs assisting deaf-blind children were pulled. DPI Chief Communications Officer Chris Boucher tells WTMJ.
So they did, in the non-continuation notice, they did tell us that there is a route to appeal. And so we're currently analyzing what our options are, and one of those is appealing, and we do plan to appeal both the decisions on both those grant programs.
Almost $11 million will be taken from the state. More freshmen are enrolling at UW system schools, but overall university attendance remains largely unchanged from 2024.
Data released Tuesday by Universities of Wisconsin President Jay Rothman shows freshman enrollment is up 3% from last year system-wide, but international student enrollment is down, mirroring other drops at colleges across the country. Currently, around 164,000 students are enrolled at Wisconsin's 13 state universities. That's up about 4,000 from a historic low in 2022, but still down about 18,000 from the all-time enrollment high set in the fall of 2010. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
In Madison, a woman who was attacked may have saved her own life.
Madison police say a woman avoided further harm by playing dead during a late-night attack. Investigators say the 57-year-old victim was dragged into a vacant lot on Packers Avenue, where she was strangled and punched. Police spotted her while she was headed to the station to report the crime. They arrested 39-year-old Ismael Hernandez Padilla nearby. He's charged with strangulation, battery, disorderly conduct, and bail jumping. Nizer Spencer, WTMJ News.
A Wisconsin kayaker who faked his death says his plan was a crazy, emotional dream. Ryan Borgwart made the comment during an interview with Green Lake County investigators, the file released to the Associated Press this week. Borgwart tells detectives he hatched his plan because he couldn't communicate with his wife and his children didn't want anything to do with him. He abandoned his kayak last year in Green Lake to make it appear he'd drowned, then flew to Eastern Europe where he lived with a woman for several months. Borgwart returned to Wisconsin late last year and was convicted of obstruction. Time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is down 239. The Nasdaq is up 98. S&P 500 up 30 points. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather up next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:05.
It's WTMJ's Kristen Bry from Mission 94 Firearms Education Center in Kenosha. Look, I've never been a gun person, but I figured we have guns in the home, so it was finally time to learn how to safely load and shoot. So I went to Mission 94 with an open mind and ended up having a blast. Mission 94 is a welcoming environment for everyone at any experience level, including me. I love how they prioritize education and training, and the staff, they made me feel so comfortable in their state-of-the-art facility. Check it out for yourself. Just Google Mission 94.
If you or a loved one is ever hurt in an accident, don't call the first lawyer you happen to see on TV. Instead, call the law firm that's most qualified to handle the complexities of your case. Or call the firm that won the largest personal injury verdict in Wisconsin history. Or the one with the largest product liability verdict in state history. Or the one that has recovered more million-dollar results than any other firm in Wisconsin. It all happens to be the same firm. Habish, Habish & Rotier. National reputation, hometown service. Visit habish.com for more information.
We see you out there building a life you love, knowing that when inspiration strikes, nothing should get in your way. At Blaine's, we're here to help with everything you need to make it happen at prices that make it possible. Like up to $60 off 12-volt GPI fuel transfer pumps, $30 off select Kurt trailer hitches, including special orders, 1.5 amp Schumacher battery maintainers, $27.99. Plus, Fall Chick Days start Friday, September 5th with freshly hatched layer chicks and meat birds. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for Tri-County Contracting. You've heard about Tri-County Contracting and their worry-free roof tune-up. You've heard about their instant roof quote. But don't forget, Tri-County Contracting also handles windows. Our project at my home moving right along right now, and the process has been so easy and thorough. It's nice when you can trust the team you're working with and know that they are looking out for you. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com. It's worry-free roofing, siding, and also windows. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com.
Protect your liver and give it the support it deserves with Active Liver from New Nordic. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Brewers have lost back-to-back games. Milwaukee falling to the Texas Rangers 5-4 on the road. Teams wrap up their series today. Packers are in wait-and-see mode with a pair of offensive linemen. Aaron Banks Jr. and Zach Tom will be game-time decisions for Thursday's matchup with the Commanders. Both players were hurt in Sunday's season-opening win over the Lions. And the Badgers face number 18 Alabama on the road Saturday. UW 2-0 entering the matchup. Badgers lost to the Crimson Tide 42-10 last season at Camp Randall. Badger Sports Update sponsored by Siding Unlimited. Siding and a whole lot more. Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Just a couple of disabled vehicles. Looks like they are both off right. I-43 South, almost a mile beyond the ramp from Mequon Road. Right shoulder there blocked. I-94 West, about a half mile beyond Moreland Road. It looks like that one has been cleared off the right shoulder. Should be clear in that stretch. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Slight chance of showers today. Partly sunny, 75. Partly cloudy and 60 overnight. Sunny, nice tomorrow. Highs in the mid to upper 70s. Partly cloudy, warmer on Friday. Highs 80. Lakeside, 85 inland. Chance of showers and storms Saturday, 81 for the high. And sunny on Sunday, 77. 62 in Madison, 66 in Green Bay and Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:09.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scaffidi and Kristen Bry.
You're just getting me today. Kristen Bry's on a well-deserved vacation. She'll be back on Tuesday of next week. Remember all the hubbub about Cracker Barrel and all the, the change in the logo and getting rid of the tchotchkes in the stores? Well, as I predicted, it's all a never mind now. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Old logo, back. Tchotchkes, back. Food stayed the same, which is probably, as someone who likes Cracker Barrel food, although I don't eat it very often, it's probably the most important piece of that story. What does it say, though? If you're confident that you are, as a CEO or head of marketing or whatever your big fancy title is, and you do something like this, announce this big change, and, I'm not privy to what Cracker Barrel and the folks who own that company, their shareholders, their board of directors, what their thought process was. I know they had a new CEO, newer CEO. But it sort of makes you look stupid, doesn't it? Like, you spent all this time and energy, you already changed the logo, you rolled it out, you had a big press release probably, and at some point, it's like, we're not going to do it. But here's the other part of this. I don't know, and this maybe if you're someone who goes to Cracker Barrel a lot, this would be something that would change your behavior. Yeah, you're mad about it for a while, but you like their food, you like their biscuits, or some of the other great breakfast food and other entrees they have. Maybe that's your thing. Maybe that you go every week. You go a couple times a week. You go every day. There's probably some people that do that. Hell, there's people who go to McDonald's every day. I wish I could be one of those people. I love McDonald's, but I rarely have it. But when we talk about stories, isn't this just the epitome of what we do now? Somebody changes something, then we react to it on social media. We go crazy. Write those nasty posts. We do the boycott thing. I didn't. Then slowly it builds. Company goes, maybe didn't really think this one out, even though they did. Spent a lot of money on it. And they said, we're not going to do it. Be interesting to see what the fallout is for Cracker Barrel, impact on their revenue. I don't think Bud Light got extra business when they made their big change, right? They're trying to appeal to a different consumer or type of consumer. That sort of backfired. Although I will tell you, firsthand knowledge, friends and family who drank Bud Light still drank Bud Light. They might have squawked about it a little bit more, but they still drank it because they liked the beer. God bless if you like Bud Light, but you're really going to boycott the beer that you love to drink because you didn't like the way they marketed their beer? It all seems, I guess the point of this, and we're going to have some big guests coming up in a second here. The point of all of this is it points to the stupidity of our culture, the stupidity of debates. This is what consumes us now. And I'm only bringing it back because I wanted to, put an end note on this conversation. They're pulling it all back. They're just going back to the way they were doing business. Think of the money they could have saved by not doing these things. Or as a former marketer, former PR guy, former elected official, maybe you do it gradually, over time, slowly, instead of making the big flash. Just a thought as we open the show. After the break, State Senator Kelda Roys joins us on the program. Interesting piece of legislation she introduced, or will be introducing today. That's our next conversation on Point Taken. Mine is Kristen Bryce. She'll be back next Tuesday right here on 620 WTMJ.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. Next December 2026, my wife Michelle and I are taking a Christmas trip that's been on our bucket list for more than a decade. Won't you come with us? Christmas on the Danube with Colette Tours. Beautiful river cruise to the most famous Christmas markets in Europe. December 2026 and a 2-night pre-trip extension to Prague. 6 nights on the beautiful MS Amadeus riverboat. 68 cabins, each with a great view. Stunning deck cafe, panorama bar. We'll be in Vienna, the medieval castle and hillside towns of the Wachau Valley, a 200-year-old fairy tale town of Passau, Germany. John at WTMJ.com, JOHN at WTMJ.com. Send me an email. I send you the beautiful information, including pricing. Or join me at the WTMJ studios, where you can meet me and the folks from Colette on September 23rd at 6:30 downtown our studio, but you need to RSVP. Let me show you the world. Come away with me. John at WTMJ.com. Send me an email. I send you the info.
I've always believed that great service makes all the difference. At Waterstone Bank, it's more than just banking. It's personal. When I needed help choosing an account, my banker took the time to understand my needs and guided me through my options. Thanks to her advice, I can watch my money grow, knowing it's secure.
Welcome to your Waterstone Bank, where community and personal service come together. Member FDIC.
When it rains, it pours. But sometimes it hails. Or worse.
That tornado warning again is for Fond du Lac and Dodge County. We also have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect right now.
Keep us within reach for Fleet Farm Storm Team alerts.
Even if a tornado does not touch down, we know that there are powerful straight line winds.
On 620 WTMJ and WTMJ.com.
Guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo!
It is hump day here on the show, the big show, Point Taken. I guess the term big show has already been taken, but I don't. I'm in this mood today where I don't really, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I'm not that concerned if I do. Just because if I'm speaking common sense and logic, I can't control how you perceive it or how angry you get about whatever. For example, and we're waiting for State Senator Kelda Roys to call in on the hotline. Important new legislation. Actually, one I sort of agree with. So I was talking about Cracker Barrel in the previous segment. And I, at the end, mentioned McDonald's. Now, if you listen to the show, you know that I lost a lot of weight in the last 8 months. Thank you, Milwaukee Weight Loss. And I mentioned McDonald's. I said I love McDonald's. But I also said I don't go there very often. Listener, who probably wasn't listening that closely, or maybe listen better is the right phrase, how can Steve promote weight loss, then proclaim to like McDonald's? Total contradiction. No, it isn't. Just because you're losing weight or have lost weight or trying to maintain whatever weight you're at doesn't mean you give up your life. Doesn't mean you never have a day. Cheat day is one of those phrases people use when you talk about that stuff. You still enjoy life. You still go to McDonald's on occasion. You still go to Cracker Barrel on occasion. You still go to wherever, Popeyes. I would suggest you don't do that every day if you're interested in losing weight. But I guess I'm expecting more. I have a couple phrases that I like to throw out there. One of them is listen better. The other one's be smarter. And Kristen gets mad at me when I say this. We are dumber as a culture and a country than we've ever been before. I'm not kidding. Things we do are counterintuitive, not productive, not efficient. We have not to get too far offline here as we wait for the senator to call in. And as I said, my patience is short today. We have spent so much time on nonsense. I had this conversation on a future podcast I'll release in October about what politics has done. Politics as theater, politics as performance art. People saying things they know aren't true. Look no further than the heads of both parties in the Oval Office. You know I'm right. You can argue if you want. You know I'm right. I could literally take 10 things that Donald Trump has said in the last month and directly point out that they're not true, not factual. So knock that off. I expect more from people, and I expect people to use their common sense and logic, and that's my exercise for all of you who listen. And I'll say it in a nice way. I appreciate the listens. All right, now we are joined on the phone by Wisconsin State Senator Kelda Roys. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Always great to talk to you. We've talked a few times before in the past. One of the things that I saw in your note to me yesterday from your staff was we always talk about mass shootings. When I talk about what comes next, people always ask me, what can we do, Steve? What can we do? And I certainly acknowledge, and I know you know this, that suicide is a big problem in our country. So I saw your note from your staff yesterday, and I said, we got to talk about this. This makes sense. So I'm going to have you sort of lay it out for people. I would call this common sense gun legislation. Maybe you disagree. You can maybe determine a different way. This one makes sense to me.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I think it makes sense to most people. Over half of all firearm deaths are deaths by suicide. And, you know, for the families and loved ones left behind, I mean, losing a loved one that way it never leaves you. It follows you, and it's, you know, a tremendous tragedy because it was preventable. Suicides are preventable deaths, and especially when they're done by firearm. We know that when someone attempts a suicide without a firearm, only 4% of the time do they actually die. But with a firearm, that number jumps to 90%. So this is a situation where, like, we know the data. Hundreds of people die every year in our state by suicide. It's a problem that crosses every boundary, every demographic group. You can talk to anyone, and they will know someone or have been closely affected by someone dying by suicide.
So let's tell people what your proposal is,
yeah.
and tell people who your co-sponsors are too as well.
Yeah, so this bill is very simple. It says you can elect to be put on a list managed by the Department of Justice that says, I don't want to be allowed to buy a firearm because I am, you know, I struggle with mental health, I struggle with depression, and I don't want to be in a situation where I might do self-harm. And it is only the person who would be subject to the exclusion. You can take yourself off the list after a year if you want to, but the DOJ has to hold it for 48 hours, so it can't be immediately I go to a gun store and say, right, I've changed my mind, I'm off the list, give me a gun, right? All we're trying to do is just put a little bit of distance between a person who's having thoughts of self-harm and their ability to end their life with a gun.
Have there been other states that have tried this or implemented this, and what's the results been?
Yes, there have. I mean, this is a relatively recent innovation in gun safety, but there are several states that are doing this, and in fact, some red states like Utah are doing this. And I think it's really an attractive option for a place like Wisconsin that does have a really strong culture of hunting and gun ownership. We respect the Second Amendment. But this is something where I think everyone can say, hey, you know, none of us want to lose a loved one to a death by suicide, and this is a really simple way we can empower people to say, I don't want this to be an option for me either.
Wisconsin
take this off the table.
Wisconsin State Senator Kelda Roy is joining us on Point Taken on 620 WTMJ. I'm trying to think, because I've always, doing what I do, I always understand there's critics for almost any piece of legislation, regardless of who submits it, what side they're on. What the argument would be if it's a voluntary sort of disclaimer that I can't have, I don't want to have access to a firearm for whatever reason. I can't understand what the other side of that argument would be. Are you getting any feedback or commentary on what that would be?
I haven't. Even in my conversations with Republican legislators, I think there is an understanding that this is a very well-crafted piece of legislation that, nobody can argue that this is somehow the government coming to violate anybody's rights. This is all about making sure that people who know I am prone to mental health struggles or I am prone to thoughts of self-harm, I don't want to harm myself. I'm fairly healthy now, so I'm going to take steps to make sure that I'm safe. In the same way that, we put seatbelts in cars, you bring an umbrella if you think it might rain. This is a way to protect people from the worst possible outcome of a mental health struggle.
Have you heard from any Republican legislators who say, you know what, sort of makes sense, or they've been quiet on this?
They've been quiet. The bill is going to be circulated today. But in my private conversations, I do see some interest, and my hope is that, this is not a partisan problem, right? We obviously lost our friend Jonathan Brostoff 10 months ago, but, we also lost a Republican former colleague several years ago, Rick Gudex, right? And again, everyone in this state knows someone or loves someone who has attempted suicide or died by suicide.
Yeah, as we both know, suicide doesn't care about your politics, and it's a scourge on this country. All right, since I have you on the program, I got to ask you the big question. You told my friend Todd Alba on another station, you're pretty likely, your direct quote, pretty likely to run for governor. All right, so here's an option. You can do it right now and tell everybody what your plans are.
Well, Steve, I have some big plans, and I will be announcing them very shortly, and I really appreciate the question and the opportunity.
All right. Well, we always appreciate anyone who does the work of a legislator and somebody who's working on behalf of Wisconsin citizens. State Senator Kelda Roy, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Steve. Good to be with you.
Absolutely. All right, we'll wrap up the first half hour of Point Taken. And we've got a big guest in the next half hour as well. She's running for the Supreme Court of Wisconsin, but we'll get there when we get there. Quick break on 620 WTMJ.
Here's the secret no one's telling you about those trendy weight loss shots. Many people gain the weight back after stopping, but there's a better way. Using the Milwaukee Weight Loss proprietary natural-based program, we've helped thousands of people not just lose weight, but keep it off long-term. You can lose up to 10 to 20% of your body weight in just 8 weeks while protecting your muscle mass. No side effects, no rebounds. Ready to transform your body for life? You can do this. Schedule your free consultation today at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Steve Scaffidi here after a summer in the maintenance phase. Feeling great, looking great. I'm back in reduction mode with the goal to lose 10 more pounds with Milwaukee Weight Loss. That means I'll have lost 50 pounds since January. The best part, none of the intense workouts, none of the meals, kits, or shakes, no meds, no injections. Many patients see 20 to 30 pounds plus come off in just a month or two. You can do it. I did it. Book your free consultation today at 262-393-2334 or online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
Monica, we've got to hand it to you.
You and the design team have outdone yourselves.
Are you talking about the One collection?
Those rings say you are the one.
And they say it symbolically.
Describe the symbols.
Every ring in the One collection should be presented with a special ritual.
What would that ritual be?
You pick up her left hand and you place a kiss on her ring finger.
Rick, you never told me about that part.
Then you show her the tiny red diamond, flush mounted inside the ring, that will forever be in contact with her finger.
Why is it red?
Because that's when the giver says to the one, wherever you go, my heart goes with you.
I give you this kiss. I give you my heart.
The red diamond is a secret symbol of that sacred moment.
The center diamond on the outside of the ring is for the whole world to see.
But the tiny red created diamond inside the ring is only for the two of them.
The One collection of engagement rings is available exclusively at Kessler's.
To find the Kessler's nearest you,
visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Bank
Bank59 has a mission to make lives better. They make it a priority to give back to their customers, communities, and their employees. In fact, Bank59 was just honored again by the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel as a top workplace. That makes 16 years in a row. Want to learn more about working with the great people at Bank59? Visit bank59.com/careers. Equal Opportunity Employer, member FDIC.
This year, it just feels different.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Listen to WTMJ as the Brewers make their charge to the postseason. Brewers playoff coverage is presented by the Neurospine Center of Wisconsin and featured by Annex Wealth Management, Boucher Automotive, and Delta Dental. We are the home of the Brewers. WTMJ.
Thanks to State Senator Kelda Royce for coming on the program. I was talking about the text line and public comments and civil discourse earlier. And then I saw this great text. And I just asked for the texter's first name because I loved it. Oh, there we go. So we're talking to State Senator Kelda Royce about this legislation introduced today about basically allowing people to say, you know what, I shouldn't have access to a firearm. New legislation. Trying to impact the what do we do next? What can I do question when it comes to mass shootings and suicide and all that stuff. So texter Diane sends this in. She goes, that's a great idea. And name the bill after the two legislators who died by suicide. One Republican, one Democrat. That's a fantastic idea. Thank you, Diane. And I said it with the state senator. This isn't it's not a us versus them. Or really, I don't know what the argument would be other than this sort of lame idea that we should just hands off everything and let people do whatever they want, walk around wherever they want, go on planes with loaded weapons. I mean, it's almost absurd the length that some people would go to sort of, they think, protect the Second Amendment. But I always remind people when we have rights, there are responsibilities associated with that. And most gun owners understand that. And I'll even go as far as say most gun owners understand there should be some limits. Because I hear that all the time from gun owners. Texter from Siding Unlimited, WTMJ Talking Text Line. We just have to find common ground. Work together. That's sort of the mission statement of this show. You don't have to like what I say. You don't have to agree with what I say, but we are certainly going to entertain different ways of looking at things. I'm not a Democrat. I know Kelda Royce is a Democrat. I don't care. It's a good idea. And we're going to talk about it, which won't happen, by the way, on other stations because they don't play that game. They're talking point, ripping readers. Not really, I don't understand the point of it, to be honest. Would you just listen and just nod your head to that? That's stupid, in my opinion. And we have a stupidity problem in this country we need to fix. All right, we got local news coming up quickly here. And then we have the latest from ABC. Lots to get to. Here's ABC.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Israel coming under criticism for the attack targeting Hamas leaders in Doha. ABC's James Longman's there.
The strike causing international outcry. Qatar condemning the attack, calling it state terrorism and accusing Israel of sabotaging ceasefire talks. Israel says it was entirely justified, though Hamas called it a failure, claiming that none of its leaders were killed. Instead, they say it only killed security guards and the son of a Hamas leader, as well as a member of the Qatari security forces.
Israel carrying out another round of heavy airstrikes against Houthi rebels in Yemen today as well. Russia says it did not deliberately target Poland when it sent drones into Polish airspace. They were shot down by NATO and Polish jets. An encouraging report on inflation. Prices at the wholesale level down more than economists had expected last month. Scientists say NASA's Mars rover finds the strongest hints yet of potential signs of ancient life by uncovering rocks in a dry riverbed. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:31. I'm Connie Weber. A 30-year-old is dead after a shooting on the city's north side, West Locust and Belle R. Phillips. Police say the victim was shot multiple times, died at the scene. No arrests yet. In Walworth County, it was car versus garbage truck. 2 people in the car went to the hospital. Sheriff's office says the truck was making a left turn at Highway 12 and County Highway P in Whitewater when it collided with the car. The Milwaukee Irish Cultural Center plans to close its doors next month. Leaders said the financial challenges facing the organization have made continuing operations no longer sustainable. Milwaukee Business Journal reports the organization had a roughly $7,000 deficit, according to 2024 tax reports. The building on Wisconsin Avenue was built in the 1800s. It's listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is off 267 points this hour, 45,444. NASDAQ is up 63 at 21,943. S&P 500 up 21 points at 6,534. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Take a look at the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. It is still quiet out there. Just a disabled vehicle. It is off on the right shoulder, I-43 south, about a mile and a half beyond the ramp from Mequon Road. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Slight chance of rain today. Partly sunny, 75, 60 for your overnight low. Sunny, nice tomorrow. Highs in the mid to upper 70s. Partly cloudy, still warmer on Friday. Highs 80 to 85 inland. Then a chance for showers and storms on Saturday. 81 for the high. Sunny and 77 on Sunday. 63 in Madison, 67 in Green Bay and Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:33.
Bring every detail of your world into clear focus with personalized eye care at Shopko Optical. Vince Vitrano here. The experienced and caring team of eye care professionals at Shopko provide comprehensive eye exams tailored to your unique vision needs. Need glasses, contacts, both? From expert care to the perfect prescription eyewear for your lifestyle. Get everything in one convenient visit. Call Shopko Optical or visit shopko.com to schedule your exam. Shopko Optical. Partners in your eye care.
Pull up to Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee and shoot your shot at big wins for Sweet Ticket September. Play with your rewards card for entries. Score triple on drawing Thursdays. Win slam dunk prizes like cash, reward play, and tickets to see the Milwaukee Bucks in action. Sweet Ticket September. You ready for this? Only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Whoa! What are these? Screamin' Sicilian loaded breadsticks. Available in 2 great flavors, cheesy garlic or pepperoni. Both delicious. Screamin' Sicilian doesn't play around. They're fully loaded breadsticks that come in their own bakeable tray.
Dang! Woo! These are next level. Are they the main course?
Nah, just the appetizer. Find Screamin' Sicilian loaded breadsticks in your local grocer's freezer section. Screamin' Sicilian loaded breadsticks. Bring the party, bring the flavor.
It's Gina Della. You've heard me define what makes Pella Windows and Doors different. Let me introduce you to the woman behind the billboards, commercials, and share my extraordinary journey of resilience, reinvention, and shattering glass ceilings every Saturday morning at 6:30 on 620 WTMJ and anywhere you stream podcasts for What's the Difference with Gina Della to discuss business coaching across all industries, featuring successful executives, entrepreneurs, and mentors along the way. This is a story you won't want to miss.
Thanks for tuning in on this Hump Day edition. Did I say Tuesday before, Jazz? I think I said Tuesday for some strange reason. Anyway, it's Hump Day. I know that's an old-fashioned term, but I'm going to still call it that because I'm an old-fashioned guy, right? We got a great guest, and I've been wanting to have this conversation for a while because unlike most people, you've already made this decision to jump in the race. Chris Taylor, a judge in Dane County?
I'm actually a judge with the Wisconsin Court of Appeals, so I hear appeals from 24 different counties.
All right. So I guess the easy question is, why did you decide this was your moment to run for Supreme Court?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for having me,
Absolutely.
Steve. I'm really excited to be here. I have always believed that the law can be a tool to help people improve people's lives. I am running now for the state Supreme Court because I care deeply about our democracy and the important role that the judiciary plays in our democracy, and I care deeply about people's constitutional rights. And these are 2 core functions of our state Supreme Court.
When we were talking before you came on, you had your little Constitution book.
Yes.
And you mentioned George Washington quote.
Yeah.
Let's go through. I'm a huge fan of George Washington,
I know.
America's
So
first
am I.
president, and the guy among many men, primarily, not exclusively, who sort of made this country great in the true fashion. What's the quote?
Yeah, so this is my pocket constitution that I love to carry around, and I read it. And it is a quote from George Washington where he says, "The power under the Constitution will always be in the people. It is entrusted for certain defined purposes to representatives of their own choosing." So that's part of it. And you know what George Washington is saying is what I deeply believe. It's why I became a judge, and that is that the people should be the center of the government.
So one of the things I hear, and I've asked around because I knew we were going to have him on the show today, is as a citizen of Wisconsin, as a voter in Wisconsin, any voter in Wisconsin, anyone who lives here and can vote, we've seen tremendous amounts of money, record amounts of money, and not the largest state by any stretch in the union. Millions of dollars spent on these Supreme Court races that are, well, they used to be nonpartisan. They're probably not anymore, although that's the goal, I think, should be the goal when you're talking about the law of the land.
Absolutely.
How do you restore confidence in that process? Because the last two, I think, broke records, and I don't know if this race that you're involved in will do the same, but that's sort of scary to the average citizen.
Yeah, and I hope we don't see the type of money that we've seen in the past. But look, the people of the state of Wisconsin just rejected attempts of a right-wing billionaire to buy a seat on the Wisconsin Supreme Court. That's inspiring to me. That means that people are sitting up and paying attention to this and understanding they don't want that. They don't want justices bought and paid for by powerful special interests or billionaires.
What about Democratic billionaires? Same rules apply?
Well, I don't know of any billionaires. That's not who I'm talking to. I am talking to the people of the state of Wisconsin. I have received support donations from every county in the state of Wisconsin. I've been to 22 different counties in the month of August. So my focus is on people. Am a strong believer in the power of the grassroots. People can make a difference in who's elected, and they have an opportunity in me to elect a justice who will put them first, who will respect their constitutional rights and do everything I can to protect our democracy and our elections. So that, for me, is why I'm running, and people want that. And I hope to inspire people. I hope that people turn out for this April 7th, 2026 election.
Yeah, you don't have till August.
I don't have till August.
August
No,
when
I have till
if you
April,
win, would be when
everybody.
you were sworn in.
Yes,
So
right.
this is another one of those common questions that we ask Supreme Court candidates, and I've had all of them on the show over the time I've been on radio. Describe your judicial philosophy, but not in like the highbrow 40,000-foot view. Just how you would approach the job.
Yeah. So, well, how I approach the job as a state Supreme Court justice is the same way I approach the job every day on the Court of Appeals. And that is, I put the people of the state first. I understand from my long legal career, including being in the legislature, that every decision I make is impacting somebody. And I take that very, very seriously. So I am very meticulous in making sure I'm applying the law in a fair way, in an impartial way, with always an eye towards justice. And that is what I am trusted to do as a judge. I would approach my job on the state Supreme Court in a no different way, with the same philosophy.
With the legislative experience that you had, how does that shape what you do now and in the future?
Oh, it's made me a better
How
judge.
so?
Oh, because I saw the ways people are impacted by laws or the lack of laws every single day. I dealt with real people, constituents, not just in my own district, but I went around the state. I was on the Joint Finance Committee, and we went around the state having hearings. I saw every single day how people can be helped or they can be hurt by a law or a lack of a law. So that is always in my conscience. I'm always thinking, how are people impacted by what I do as a judge? How do I make sure that even if people don't agree with me, they understand and they actually feel heard and that their position was considered?
As you go around the state, and you said 22 counties so far?
Yeah, about 22 counties.
So you about A third of the way.
Yeah.
Almost. What's on people's minds? I mean, what's the main thing they come back to you with?
I think there's a lot of anxiety right now, a lot of uncertainty, both economic. Some people have lost their jobs. They don't know. There's a period of I think, a bit of a chaos, not knowing what's going to happen, not knowing how these tariffs impact them. Of course, I'm not a policymaker, so I focus on the law. But I do think that there's a degree of uncertainty, and I think there's some stress around that. But my message to voters is, look, we can make a difference here in Wisconsin. Please join me in this campaign so that we can do that.
All right, we're going to stick around for one more segment here. Appeals Court Judge Chris Taylor, candidate for Wisconsin Supreme Court. Lots more to get to. We'll do it on Point Taken on 620 WTMJ. Loyalty, family. Few things are more important. This is WTMJ's Steve Scaffidi and Loyal Family Renovations. They saved the day after a brutal storm in Oak Creek. Hail damage, yeah, I had a lot of it. But Jeff, Jake, and the whole team, absolute pros, made the entire process smooth as can be. Let's be honest, not everyone knows how to deal with adjusters. They handle all the questions, quick answers, top-notch customer service. In just 2 days, my roof was done. If storm damage hits, call the team that made it easy for me. Loyal Family Renovations. Visit loyalfamilyrenovations.com.
All types of injury lawyers advertise. Cartoon lawyers, bobblehead lawyers, and folks chasing ambulances with text messages. Our clients don't want or need such lawyers. Our clients know, like, and trust that Pasternak and Zergabel will help in their time of need. I'm Frank Pasternak of Pasternak and Zergabel. Jeff Zergabel and I are excellent personal injury lawyers in our community. If you need help after an injury, go to Pasternak and Zergabel at injurywisconsin.com. That's injurywisconsin.com.
Welcome to The Knowledge Brokers, a weekly feature covering the dynamics of the insurance market, how it affects Wisconsin businesses and residents. It's sponsored by the original Knowledge Broker, R&R Insurance. Joining me today is Jeff Salazinski, Executive Vice President of Insurance Operations. Jeff, talking about employee benefits today, and R&R Insurance, of course, a great benefits program for all of us here at Good Karma Brands. So when it comes to benefits, what are some of the real challenges employers are facing today?
Vince, the buying environment has not been easy for many employers, really driven by cost increases and the rapid innovation in today's specialty prescription drugs and medical treatments. The explosion of GLP-1 drugs and their usage is impacting planned financials. Specialized gene therapies are revolutionizing medicine, but also sending shockwaves through health plan economics and risk management frameworks.
So, Jeff, of course, managing an employee health plan, doing that well takes time. It takes expertise. So how is R&R supporting its clients and keeping them informed on all of these issues you just mentioned?
Sure. We have an elite team of analytics resources that blend their years of experience with technology and innovation when designing plans for our clients. We use strategy and our expert resources to help you control costs and maximize the value of your employee benefits plan. Plus, we provide local management and service and support all over the state.
So what else can R&R Insurance provide that sets you apart?
We help employers brand their benefit package in a customized, easy-to-understand fashion, taking out the complex and confusing nature of shopping for health insurance. Most importantly, we'll manage and provide as much support as you need for your open enrollment and beyond. With our latest mobile technology, your employees will have easy and immediate access to benefits information for themselves and their families 24/7.
Thanks for the great info, Jeff.
Get started with your no-hassle refi checkup by clicking on the blue button at AccuNet.com.
Great opportunity to talk to a candidate for Wisconsin Supreme Court, Appeals Court Judge in Wisconsin. Chris Taylor joining us. All right, so we were just chatting about a lot of things during the break. This one just struck me, and I actually said it or asked you because I didn't want to sound stupid, but it's like it's an interesting dynamic. So in the history of our country, most of our judges and justices have been men. That changed a while ago, decades ago, but not to any great degree. And then you look at Wisconsin, and maybe you know what the story is in other states. I don't know. It's except for Brian Hagedorn, all women.
Yeah.
What does that say about Wisconsin, or what does that suggest about voters' decision-making about what they want in a judge? I mean, how do you see that?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. When I was in law school, I was a law clerk for the first female judge elected on the trial court. And, I think the judiciary is a place where women have done well. You don't kind of get some of the maybe obstacles that you get in corporate America. But I think at the end of the day, what I'm hearing from people is they want a justice who's going to stand up for them, who's going to be on their side. And whether that is the woman or the man running, they have chosen in many instances the woman. But at the end of the day, I think it's who do you trust who's going to listen and give you a fair shot?
Is there anything that you're thinking about now? You can never talk about the cases that may come in front of you as a Supreme Court justice, but things that you think, okay, if that case ever came, or that subject or topic, I'd have to recuse. You ever think like that as a
sure.
judge?
I mean, look, I can't hear any of my circuit court opinions. They're all coming up to the Court of Appeals.
Yeah.
So I recuse myself on those opinions. If I have recused when I have known somebody on a case, or I knew one of the victim's mothers on a case, because you always want. You don't know, I mean, I know in most instances I can be fair and impartial, but it's also the perception, right? And you want people to have confidence and trust courts. In fact, it's imperative for their survival of courts.
Right.
People give it credit that they trust it.
We've seen recent examples where justices have recused, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's common. I didn't tell you I was going to ask you this question, but as you see what the sort of the public opinion has said about in the country about the U.S. Supreme Court, those justices, at least their court, is not popular right now, and that wasn't always the case. Right. Again, not talking about specific decisions or rulings. What do you make of that?
Well, I think that people see that court as being politicized and not standing up for their constitutional function, not standing up for people's constitutional rights. We see instances where I think the U.S. Supreme Court really has abandoned their role in holding the other branches of government accountable. That's one thing that the Supreme Court can do. They don't have the power of the purse. They don't have the power of the sword. But they can say these actions by the two other branches of government or one other branch of government is unlawful and unconstitutional. And I think that people are seeing that is not being fulfilled, that important role.
And I told you, I talked to so many candidates over the years for Wisconsin Supreme Court, and depending on who you're talking about, the law is the law. We don't interpret the law as it's written. The Constitution is the Constitution. But I always respond to that. Well, yeah, I get that, but we have justices in courts because it's not that easy.
It's not that easy. The law is not black and white. And when I was a lawmaker and saw how laws were made, I really saw that.
Yeah. It's not always clear.
It's not clear. And you want the best, you want a person who is committed to trying to decipher what the law is, and to try to apply it in a way that's fair and impartial. And that is what I do every single day. But the law is not black and white. There is a lot of gray in the law. And that's what's really special to it about appellate court, because we get some of the hardest decisions. And we're trying to work out what the law is, what is the result. And we can do that collaboratively. We talk to each other. If you're not going to talk to your colleagues, don't be an appellate court judge. You have got to be able to hear other people's opinions, disagree respectfully, and maybe have your own mind changed because they might have thought of something you didn't. And that is the beauty of an appellate court.
You can answer or not answer. Have we seen sort of a degradation of that concept of civility and respecting your peers on the Wisconsin Supreme Court as of late?
I think that it's on the upward trend. I do think we see more collegiality, but there is absolutely no reason to not make sure, and for the public not to demand, that justices treat each other with respect, even when they disagree with each other. That's what I do every day. In the legislature, I worked with a lot of people across the aisle. They did not agree with me on everything, but guess what? We found ways to work together because we were talking. So you have to keep talking and trying to see another person's point of view, and that is critically important in appellate court because that's how you get to the best decisions.
Last question. Recent news. Yeah. It's now an open seat, or will be an open seat.
It is an open seat.
Did that surprise you, that decision by Rebecca Bradley?
A little bit. I mean, I'm a little bit surprised. But it doesn't change, Steve, what I'm doing and my focus. I'm still going out to the people. I'm still getting to the communities around the state because that is the most important thing to me. And I think that is how you win races, is you inspire people to vote for you, and you make the case that they can trust you.
And I would make the argument people want to be inspired today, because there's a lot of examples where their leaders or their whatever are not inspiring them.
Yes.
I think that's a good.
And I'm inspired by the people. Let me be clear.
Yeah.
People are doing some amazing things around this state. So I am always inspired in meeting and talking with people.
Pleasure to meet you for the first time.
Yeah,
Let's
thank
make sure
you.
we have continued conversations.
I would love that.
I'll invite all the candidates on the show. Chris Taylor, appeals court judge in Wisconsin, candidate for Wisconsin Supreme Court. Have a great rest of your week.
You too, Steve. Thanks again.
All right, we'll wrap up the opening hour of a 2-hour show without Kristen Bry, who's on vacation. Point taken. Did you get the point? I hope you did. 620 WTMJ.
Gene Miller here for my friends at Hometown Windows and Doors. Unfortunately, it's not too early to start thinking about those upcoming heating bills. At Hometown's huge New Berlin showroom, you can compare energy-efficient windows from Anderson, Pella, Marvin, and more. Like me, you'll get a dedicated project consultant to guide you to the products that best fit your home, style, and budget, along with employee carpenters who respect your home. Do what I did. Contact Hometown Windows and Doors today. Hometown with an E for your every window and door need. 414-329-1200 or online at hometownwindows.com.
The Census Bureau says more than 12,000 Americans turn 65 each day. It's a surge they call Peak 65, the highest number in history. Some Annex clients retire early. Some keep working because they love it. You know why? Because they've got custom plans built by fee-only fiduciaries. They identified their wants and needs, and we went to work. We want to do the same for you. Annex does financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Visit AnnexWealth.com and click the Get Started button.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers, where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
Back to school means back to savings with Exterior Pros and Baths. Right now, get $3,000 off your roofing, your siding, your windows, or your bath project during the fall savings event. Don't wait. Call 262-800-4274 or visit extpros.com to claim your $3,000 savings and book your free estimate. Exterior Pros and Baths, Wisconsin's trusted home improvement experts. Trust the pros.
Goodyear, Dunlop, Kelly, Continental, General, you name it, we got it.
Plus, free flat tire repair, free tire rotations, and more.
So when you're due for tire service, schedule it at richlawns.com.
That's Rich Lawns with 2 N's.
Rich Lawns.
Seriously. Even with all the wanted posters in Texas, you'll still never catch this crew.
At the track, it is gone! 5 batters in, it's 5-0 Milwaukee.
It's the Brewers and Rangers in a standoff down south.
Breaking ball got him looking. A curveball ring him up.
Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts today at 1. We are the home of the Brewers. WTMJ. WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
I love that. Jazz always has my back. She's good at her job. All right. Producer Jazz, that is. Thanks to my guest this hour. I got an email at my work email. I'm paraphrasing because it's a long email. What's with all the women guests on the show? Okay, first of all, we have guests that are relevant. One is potentially a candidate for governor, and the other one is a candidate for Wisconsin Supreme Court. So until there's other candidates for Wisconsin Supreme Court, that's what you're going to get. But it's really a sort of a around the back way to say, did you have too many Democrats on the show today or left-leaning? And here's where I'll point out the obvious difference to what we do here. One, we actually have women hosts on our station, something I'm very proud of, having been part of the Kristen Bry success story. And she's really good at her job, by the way, and I miss her when she's not here. But we also, in every way possible, invite both sides to enter our conversation. That doesn't happen on partisan radio. That doesn't happen on the Rip and Read Talking Points radio shows. And maybe you like being yelled at for 3 hours or 2 hours every day, and maybe that's your jam and you're excited to tune in. Do what you got to do. You be you. But I would argue, and I have argued over and over again, and I'll make that argument to the day I die, that has dumbed us down. It has made us hyper-partisan, and it's allowed some of the you-know-what to flourish in this environment. So don't send me an email like that. We have guests that matter, guests that are relevant. This isn't Pleasantville, where everybody's white and they're a male of my age. And if that's some sort of your happy place, I'm not here for you, sorry. News is next.
There's a lot of noise coming out of Washington these days, but one thing retirees in Wisconsin can't afford to ignore is the new Big Beautiful Bill. Sounds harmless, right? But here's the truth. The changes buried in this bill could have a serious impact on your retirement. At Drake & Associates, we've dug into the details, and we want to make sure you know what's really at stake. The Big Beautiful Bill includes sweeping updates to tax brackets, Social Security thresholds, Medicare premiums, and retirement account rules. And for many retirees, it could mean higher taxes on your savings, more limits on deductions, and unexpected changes to your income plan. Maybe you're already retired, or maybe you're just a few years away. Either way, what you don't know could cost you thousands. That's why we're offering Wisconsin residents a free educational guide to help you understand how the new bill may impact retirees and questions to discuss with your trusted financial advisor. Just text the word tax to 414-897-9522. That's tax, T-A-X, to 414-897-9522. You'll get immediate access to expert insights from the team at Drake & Associates, retirement planners who have been serving Wisconsin for over 20 years. We focus on tax-efficient retirement planning, helping you keep more of your money, avoiding surprises, and staying ahead of the curve no matter what Congress throws your way. So before the Big Beautiful Bill takes a bite out of your hard-earned savings, let's make sure your plan is designed to help prepare for uncertainty. Text TAX to 414-897-9522. That's TAX to 414-897-9522. Drake & Associates, helping build retirement confidence right here in Wisconsin.
Drake & Associates LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates LLC does not provide legal or tax advice. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.
It's WTMJ's Debbie Lazaga for Comfort Awnings. I reclaim my outdoor space by having Comfort Awnings install a motorized retractable awning so I can enjoy the sun and get relief when I need it. Sensors are also available that detect strong winds and rain to extend or retract your awning. They even protect against UV radiation so you can safely enjoy the outdoors. Family owned and located in Burlington, Comfort Awnings expertly installs custom awnings that fit your home and style. Right now, you can receive $250 off all awnings and screens. Call 414-AWNINGS or visit comfortawnings.com.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Start your journey now. Don't wait. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Schedule your free consultation to lose up to 1 pound of fat per day. No drugs, no injections, no exercise. It's safe, fast, and costs a fraction of those injections. Book your free consultation at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
Seriously. 1-0 to Collins. Line to right. Back Castellanos at the track. It is gone. 5 batters in. It's 5-0 Milwaukee.
It's the Brewers and Rangers in a standoff down south. Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts today at 1 on the home of the Brewers, News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
7:01, we have 69 degrees, just a slight chance of showers today and a high of 75. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. Charged in the deaths of two student athletes from Marquette University. 41-year-old Amandria Brunner of West Allis charged with homicide by intoxicated use of a vehicle with a prior conviction in the deaths of 19-year-old Scott Michaud and 20-year-old Noah Snyder. Brunner admitted to police that she had 2 drinks before driving on September 5th, turning left during a yellow light into the path of a speeding Jeep containing 6 members of the Marquette lacrosse team. Brunner's blood alcohol level was almost 2 times over the legal limit. She was previously convicted of OWI in 2003. A DoorDash driver accused of killing 2 people riding an ATV on Milwaukee's near West Side is heading to trial.
Jaden Brown Smith was finishing deliveries in late August when prosecutors alleged they struck the ATV near 28th and Concordia carrying Victor Ramos and Brittany Harshman. According to court records, Brown Smith did not have a driver's license at the time of the crash, and the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reports he never held a Wisconsin license. Brown Smith has 2 prior convictions for traffic citations, including operating without a license. He pleaded not guilty in court Tuesday and returns for a scheduling conference in October. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
The producer price index out this morning showing an unexpected drop in prices at the wholesale level. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze says this comes ahead of a meeting next week at the Federal Reserve, now expected to cut interest rates.
This report really does keep the Fed on track to cut interest rates next week. Largely expected to have the first interest rate cut in quite some time. So that would be welcome news for a lot of borrowers out there talking about credit card debt, auto loans. We already are seeing mortgage rates go down in anticipation of that.
Today's report by the BLS shows prices pulled back by 0.1% in August compared to July. Prices compared to a year ago were up 2.6%. President Trump pushing for the death penalty for the man accused of murdering a Ukrainian refugee on a Charlotte light rail. In a post on Truth Social this morning, he also said DeCarlos Brown Jr. should be given a quick trial because there is no doubt the 34-year-old has been federally charged with committing an act causing death on a mass transportation system in connection with the killing of the 23-year-old August 22nd. In the battle over the Epstein files, fallout over the suggestive birthday note to Jeffrey Epstein purportedly signed by Donald Trump. President calls it a forgery. ABC's Mary Bruce has reaction from D.C.
On Capitol Hill, many Republicans, including the chair of the Oversight Committee, are falling in line, backing the president's denials. While Democrats argue Trump, who initially claimed the letter didn't exist at all, is lying.
Last night, President was asked about the letter. He denied he signed it, said the letter was not written in the way he speaks. A Madison woman survived an attack by pretending to be dead. Police say the 57-year-old was walking on Packers Avenue late Sunday night when a man dragged her into a vacant lot, strangled and punched her. Officers later found the woman injured and arrested 39-year-old Ismael Hernandez Padilla. He's now facing charges of strangulation, battery, disorderly conduct, and bail jumping. A Wisconsin kayaker who faked his death says his plan was a crazy, emotional dream.
Ryan Borgwart made the comment during an interview with Green Lake County investigators, and the interview was part of an investigative file released to the Associated Press this week. Borgwart tells detectives that he hatched his plan because he couldn't communicate with his wife, and his children didn't want to do anything with him. Borgwart abandoned his kayak last year in Green Lake in hopes investigators would think he drowned. He then flew overseas and lived with a woman in Eastern Europe for several months, and then returned to Wisconsin late last year. Borgwart was convicted on obstruction charges last month. Neil Doyle, WTMJ News.
Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is down 202 points. NASDAQ up 70. S&P 500 up 29. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth. Annex Private Client. Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather up next. Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time 11:05.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. I urge you to experience the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club this week. Put it on your list. Get it done. Enjoy a free dinner. With the fall colors beginning to settle in, the drive through the Kettle Moraine is gorgeous. Gorgeous restaurant, gorgeous drive, incredible food and service. When you buy one dinner, your second dinner is free 7 nights a week. Order a choice steak, seafood, pan-fried walleye, steak and lobster, pasta, any entree, your second dinner is free. Desserts or buy one, get one free. Relax with a sweet cocktail in one of the 8 beautiful dining rooms. And this Saturday only, enjoy a 10-ounce prime rib with 4 garlic cream stuffed shrimp and all the sides
for $66.99, and that's for 2 dinners. The Fox and Hound, easy to get to off Highway 167, 2 miles east of Holy Hill. The Fall Drive is a must-see. And this Saturday, 2 prime rib and shrimp dinners for $66.99. All other dinners, buy one, get one free. It's the Fox and Hounds.
There's a problem if your lawyer is famous for one phone call and a quick settlement. It weakens your position in a negotiation. Another problem is due diligence. That's what trial lawyers conduct when preparing a case. Things like lost wages, lifetime medical costs, and other variables that can't be considered in a quick settlement. In fact, one call in a quick settlement is exactly what the other side wants. Instead, call Habish, Habish & Rotier. National reputation, hometown service. Visit Habish.com to find out more.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for Tri-County Contracting. You've heard about Tri-County Contracting and their worry-free roof tune-up. You've heard about their instant roof quote. But don't forget, Tri-County Contracting also handles windows. Our project at my home moving right along right now, and the process has been so easy and thorough. It's nice when you can trust the team you're working with and know that they are looking out for you. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com. It's worry-free roofing, siding, and also windows. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Brewers have lost back-to-back games. Milwaukee falling to the Texas Rangers 5-4 on the road. Teams wrap up their series today. Packers are in wait-and-see mode with a pair of offensive linemen. Aaron Banks Jr. and Zach Tom will be game-time decisions for Thursday's matchup with the Commanders. Both were hurt in Sunday's season-opening win over the Lions. Badgers face number 18 Alabama on the road Saturday. UW 2-0 entering the matchup. Badgers lost to the Crimson Tide 42-10 last season at Camp Randall. Badger Sports Update sponsored by Siding Unlimited Siding and a whole lot more. Take a look at the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Still pretty quiet out there. We have a new disabled vehicle. It is going to be off left, blocking the shoulder I-41 south, about a half mile beyond Ryan Road.
Traffic is sponsored by Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee. Design Exchange is where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor on consignment at 25 to 40% off retail prices in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Slight chance of showers today, high 75. Overnight low 60. Sunny, nice tomorrow. High 75 to 77 inland. Friday, partly cloudy, highs 80 to 85. A chance of showers and storms on Saturday. 81 for the high. Sunshine and 77 on Sunday. 65 in Madison, 68 in Green Bay, and in Milwaukee we have 69 degrees. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:08.
School's back in session.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scaffidi and Kristen Bry.
And Kristen is not on assignment. She's on vacation and she'll be back next Tuesday. We do miss her because she always challenges me and makes me smarter, as I like to say on our podcast and on the show. Point Taken is where you're at. It is a different kind of show, as I explained in the run up to the top of the hour news, thanks to Connie Weber and ABC for those updates. We'll do it again at the bottom. And thanks to all of you who are providing feedback. And that's one of the things I want to mention as sort of launching a couple quick hitters here. 855-616-1620 is the Siding Unlimited WTMJ Talking Text line. Your opportunity to provide commentary and feedback to what I'm talking about, questions, whatever. And on that subject, or on that topic, at 11:35, I will entertain your questions as part of, and I'm gonna relabel today because it's usually Ask Us Anything. It's Ask Steve Anything. Your opportunity to ask me anything: politics, culture, sports. Because I'm a sports guy now. I'm wearing that sports thing all the time now because I do the pre-games with my pals Alex and Gabe on ESPN 94.5, sometimes simulcast on 640 WTMJ. So we are excited. I'm excited about doing that. So those questions, start putting them on the text line, 855-616-1620. If you're really good, I'll put you on the phone or on the line or on the show. But you got to be good. And if you're one of those long ago loyal listeners, callers, I'm thinking Rome, Joe from Atlanta. This would be your opportunity to kind of jump in. Let's do a live conversation if you're listening and you heard that. All right, so there's a couple things I want to talk about in this next half hour. This is sort of, as I said, sort of a rip from the headlines. Remember we were talking about the Wausau mayor? Remember when we were talking about he dressed up in a Halloween costume, basically put on some gloves, and he had someone take a videotape of him removing the ballot box in Wausau. He said that it wasn't properly secured, which it was. And I called it performative politics. I scolded him then, and I'll scold him again. Keep your hands off the election apparatus. That's not your role. You can certainly advise the clerk. Often clerks, if they're good, city county clerks will ask their local leaders for some information. But that's not your job. And sort of the update is that case continues. There is always concern when elected officials try to get involved in our elections in the state of Wisconsin. And just give you some of the background. Wisconsin Elections Commission dismissed a complaint filed against several Wausau city officials in a unanimous decision that was a while ago, May. In a complaint filed last October, a couple of residents alleged multiple irregularities, including lighting, security measures for that drop box. The city clerk, deputy clerk, and finance director were named in that complaint. Bottom line is, May 27th ruling commission said they did not violate the law or abuse their discretion. So, and then in part of the ruling or decision, the commission rejected allegations that they basically weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing. There were clear camera views of the drop box, adequate lighting in the area. City also correctly labeled the drop box with an 8 p.m. deadline on election day, which is part of the rules. But I'm going to go back to this. And maybe I'm belaboring the point. Maybe I'm picking on Mayor Denny or Diney, however he says his name. And I'm more than happy to find out what the correct pronunciation is. The DOJ, Department of Justice investigation, continues. There's a special prosecutor appointed to the case. And I think it should continue. Now, the special prosecutor is Fond du Lac County District Attorney Eric Toney, who's good at his job. Now, to be fair, he believes, Toney's identifies as a Republican, believes the use of ballot boxes is illegal. He wanted the Supreme Court of Wisconsin to outlaw them. They didn't do that. They are legal now, state of Wisconsin. So what does this all mean? I guess it doesn't mean anything unless the Department of Justice continues that investigation, comes to some conclusion. But here's what I would do. From wherever realm or jurisdiction or commission it comes from in the state of Wisconsin, if you're an elected official, unless you're tasked with overseeing elections like clerks, keep your paws off the election equipment. Don't get involved in the process beyond communication. I used to ask, how are things going? That's the appropriate way. Putting a costume on, like the mayor of Wausau did, filming yourself or recording yourself, moving it into the mayor's office or the building in Wausau, city building, is not your job. You were grandstanding. You got called out for it. And that's not the role of elected officials. So keep your hands out of elections in that sense. You want to communicate, ask them how they're doing. Buy them pizza out of your own pocket, not the city's dollars or the taxpayers' dollars. Knock yourself out. Just a little commentary on a story you probably haven't heard about in a long time. And thanks to Journal-Sentinel reporter, let me get this right. Where is she? Anna Kleiber for her great reporting on the update on the Wausau absentee ballot drop box, as she said, her headline, saga. Lots more to get to. We'll do it after this on 620 WTMJ.
School's back in session. Kids have their backpacks, school supplies, and new clothes. But are you ready as a parent? Families are the single most important factor in a child's academic success. This year, get to know your child's teachers. Stay engaged with their learning. Don't be shy about asking questions along the way. Because as a parent, you are your child's first and most important teacher. Learn more about how City Forward Collective is helping families, students, and schools thrive at cityforwardcollective.org.
Steve Martin and Martin Short's national tour is coming to the Miller High Life Theater on February 27th. Don't miss this live comedy and music event. The plot is their friendship. Two legends roasting each other, telling showbiz stories, riffing with the audience, and unveiling new songs and multimedia bits. Steve Martin and Martin Short. Tickets on sale Friday, September 12th at papsttheatergroup.com or enter to win a pair of tickets at WTMJ.com/contest.
WTMJ's Julia Fellow for Appliance Gallery on Wisconsin Avenue in Milwaukee, home to the state's most up-to-date luxury appliance showroom, featuring top brands like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Bosch, GE Cafe, and more. They work seamlessly with your designer or contractor. Customize with colors from Blue Star and True Residential. As a small family-owned business with one location, they handle everything from start to finish. Visit ApplianceGalleryWI.com or stop in today.
Wisconsin's Morning News is here for you every weekday morning starting at 6 a.m. Vince Petrano.
Democrat from Milwaukee County will enter the race for governor. County Executive David Crawley officially announcing his bid in a campaign video launched this morning.
Eric Billstad.
The man accused of stealing more than $1 million in tools will be heading to trial.
And traffic with Debbie Lozica.
We do have one incident. It is a crash off on the right shoulder.
The news you need to know. Wisconsin's Morning News on WTMJ.
We're just getting warmed up, even though it's the second hour of the Kristen Brylas Point Taken show. She's not coming back till Tuesday. You got me. You're getting what you signed up for. Somebody asked me, how many shows have you done? 5 over the years. It's actually, I'll give some homework for all the people going on my Sicily Malta listener trip. One of the trivia questions: what's the name of all 5 shows that I've done on WTMJ? It's tougher than you think. It's tougher than you think, because even my lovely wife Kathy got one of them wrong. She was close, but she didn't get them all right. So I'll give you. If you're listening and you're a loyal listener and you're going to play the trivia contest, because I have some good prizes, by the way, for our Sicily Malta trip. So you're asking when is Kristen going to do the show alone? Well, I'll be gone from like the 3rd through the 16th, so quite a bit of Kristen, more Kristen, #MoreKristen time. All right, this next story just pisses me off. I'm going to say it as clearly as possible. It pisses me off. I'm not failing to understand why it's happened. We obviously know the pandemic did a lot of things to our country, ruined small business, impacted restaurants, and even the workforce, how people approach that decision to go into the workforce, especially young people, how companies approach remote versus in-office work. But there's no denying the impact that the pandemic and I would say the dumbing down of our educational system, sort of the decision by school boards and superintendents in many, many districts to sort of sign on to this constantly evolving curriculum of the week or curriculum of the year thing where you're paying a lot of people a lot of money to tell you how to teach, when a lot of the things we used to do did work well. That's one of those few times I'll say, you know what, core teaching, core knowledge, I love the word core, is part of the success story of America. What am I talking about? USA Today, headline: U.S. students score new lows in nation's report card. That's not a good headline. Children in the United States, lower on reading, lower on math, essentially lower on almost everything. Public, private, doesn't matter. And here's why this is really sad. I can't blame it all on the pandemic. This is a decade or longer decline in student performance. But if we're sort of focusing on the pandemic time period, 12th graders, math and reading declined. 8th graders, science scores declined by 4 points. The lowest, 12th grade numbers, lowest since the test began in 1992. Let that sink in. Matthew Soldner, the acting commissioner of the National Center for Education Statistics, called the report sobering. How about a cold, hard slap in the face? And, for all the folks who want to blame the pandemic, and there's there's tons of people now who, they want to fight that battle. We're going to put people in jail for how they handled the pandemic, or we didn't like what our health professionals, medical providers did. We're going to try to put them in jail or put them in front of Congress and ask why they were lying to us, even though you don't know everything at the beginning of a pandemic, at least as much as you know at the end of the pandemic, or however close we get to an end. So my take is simply this. We have to get back. This sounds like a cliche, but it's so important. And I'm happy that MPS is starting to understand this. Core knowledge, core teaching. We have to, I've said this for years, and Kristen has even given me grief on this. I believe this. Unless you know the basics, reading, writing, arithmetic, you can have all the extracurricular stuff you want. It's not going to make those kids smarter. And unless you have a high school diploma, unless you are actually up to speed on the basics of all of those disciplines, you're going to have a tough task in life. And people always ask me when I'm out, but why do you say people are dumber now? Because I believe that. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. I don't want you to be dumb. I can be dumb on occasion. We can all be dumb on occasion. You shouldn't walk through your life as a standard bearer for dumbness. That's not a good look. We have literally people who know, they say things out loud they know aren't true because their political party says they have to say those to sort of back up our guy. How dumb is that? There's all kinds of other areas I think we sort of cave into. I'm sorry. And Kristen gets mad at me when I say this, but reality TV makes us dumber. It makes some people, not all, worship the stupid among us. Because I got to be honest, having sampled that stuff, not the best and brightest. They may look nice. And maybe that's the attraction. People like to look at good-looking people. I get it. That's nature. That's human nature. But my sole reason for bringing this up is, one, I'm disappointed in our country. Because we used to be the best and brightest. And we're not. But we sort of dumbed down the process by trying to make school something else. If any kid goes to a school and is not taught core and taught and understands reading, writing, and arithmetic, you failed. Them and our country and our culture. Simple as that. I know it's a lecture, but sometimes you have to have that hard talking to. And hell, there's guys that do what I do that do it for 3 hours and mostly in a yelling voice. I'm talking in a calm voice. It doesn't have to be that hard. Figure out what works best. I'll use the reading example. Phonics. There's a recommitment to doing it that way across the states. I've had people say that doesn't work for everybody. Okay, but it worked for most people. You can always fine-tune it for the people that need extra help. That's what we're good at, or we should be. I blame it on superintendents. I blame it on school boards. You signed up for these, the fancy new way of teaching. Every 3 years or whatever your contract was, here's the next new thing. Why do we need that? Stop wasting our taxpayer dollars on that. And while you're at it, stop wasting our taxpayer dollars on building college football stadiums at local high schools. I know it's cool. I know we all love going to Friday Night Lights or whatever night you play, with fancy swimming pools and fancy gymnasiums and rec centers and all that stuff. Yes, Jazz?
Cough, cough, Texas.
Yeah, Texas, exactly. Texas high schools, worst of the worst. When I worked in Texas, I had an employee there. You'd go to these cities. They had better stadiums than most of our small colleges in the state of Wisconsin in high school. And you know what? The people gladly paid for them with referendums. They love their football in Texas. What are you going to do? I just wanted you to think about it today. I have a rare opportunity to just say things, and I'm saying things. Get back to the basics. It seems so simple, but yet we see school board members and superintendents struggle with that basic concept. Yeah, it's great to have all the extra stuff. Who wouldn't? But here's my deal. You want to do that extra stuff, you got to pass the basics. Then you get access to it. If that's harsh, I don't care. Quick break.
Get inside the mind of Mark Tauscher.
It's Christmas. You just got a great present that you believe when you open it, you're going to win a championship.
See the world from his perspective.
I think the only real answer is they bungled it. And I think Dallas fans know that they bungled it.
On Wisconsin's Morning News, every day at 7:50.
We'll take your bungling, and we're going to be more than happy to grab that bungle, take it, and try to chase the championship with it.
Mark Tauscher, presented by Hello Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and Kohler Services.
Hey, it's WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Advent. I love talking about Advent because they changed my life. And Advent knows me better than anybody now because they did a procedure 30 minutes. After a long evaluation, we asked the questions, they asked me questions, did a simple sleep study at home, and we figured it out. Well, they figured it out. I didn't know. I didn't even know I had a breathing triangle, but it was sinuses and nasal passage that were my problem, which, by the way, everybody's different problems, different solutions, but that's a common one. Hold your hand up out in Radio Land or Streamland. Snores? Bothering your bed partner, your wife, whatever? Why would you do that to another person for like 7-8 hours a night? That's not fair. Don't do it. I sleep through the whole night, and my lovely wife, Kathy, appreciates that. Trust me. If you struggle like I used to, take the time to see you. Advent can help you. Find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better. Go to AdventKnows.com. Simple as that, AdventKnows.com. Schedule an appointment today because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
I've always believed that great service makes all the difference. At Waterstone Bank, it's more than just banking. It's personal. When I needed help choosing an account, my banker took the time to understand my needs and guided me through my options. Thanks to her advice, I can watch my money grow, knowing it's secure.
Welcome to your Waterstone Bank, where community and personal service come together. Member FDIC.
Winding down to the bottom of the hour news. Connie Weber, the Connie Weber. Yes, that's right, the Connie Weber. And the latest from ABC coming up at about 11:30-ish. Sampling the text line. Don't forget now, ask Steve anything. This is your opportunity to take us in a direction that I wasn't intending to go or get my feedback or comments on something. 855-616-1620. If you're a good caller, and Jazz is a good judge of that, she is a harsh critic of bad callers. No, I'm just kidding. She loves everybody, but, well, almost everybody. Sometimes she's mad at me. Anyway, here's your chance to get involved in the show, as some of you want to do. 855-616-1620. And I got a bunch of questions already, so I appreciate you taking the time to send those in. And for the listeners, always, real quick, I always do this in this spot, or at least I try to. There's always different ways to consume what we do. And I know people have busy lives, and you're working or shopping or whatever. Your kids are driving you nuts. Your spouse is driving you nuts, your partner, whatever you got. But you can always find the show at WTMJ.com. So if you missed part of the show or an interview, I had some great interviews today with Chris Taylor, candidate for Supreme Court, and State Senator Kelly Royce. Those are early in the show. You can find on our podcast page at WTMJ.com. Or if you're podcast savvy, wherever you get your podcast, point taken. Boom. Takes you right there. Every episode. Simple. I can do it, so you can do it. I always say that, but that's true. I'm not the most techie guy in the world or IT-friendly guy. Trust me, they remind me of that all the time. But it's all there for you. We have all our podcasts you need to listen, which is fantastic. It's sort of overtime with Kristen and Steve. And got a great one on Vegas coming up, so I'm looking forward to that. My podcast, Scaffidi, just text Steve, S-T-E-V-E. A lot of great conversations. I've stacked a bunch because I'm going to be gone for a little bit of time in October. So those are all available wherever you get your podcast, or text Steve for Scaffidi. Listen for You Need to Listen. And I'm missing one. Point for Point Taken. 855-616-1620. Connie Weber coming up. Before that, the latest now from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Prices at the wholesale level dipped last month by 0.1% from the previous month. The Producer Price Index shows inflation was up 2.6% in August compared to last year. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze says it's one gauge the Federal Reserve Board is watching ahead of its meeting next week.
This report really does keep the Fed on track to cut interest rates next week. Largely expected to have the first interest rate cut in quite some time. So that would be welcome news for a lot of borrowers out there talking about credit card debt, auto loans. We already are seeing mortgage rates go down in anticipation of that.
The Consumer Price Index will be released tomorrow. The White House says it will appeal a judge's ruling in favor of Federal Reserve Board member Lisa Cook, leaving her to remain on the board after President Trump attempted to fire her due to allegations of mortgage fraud, something Cook denies. Israel facing international criticism following the strike in Qatar yesterday targeting Hamas leadership. Hamas says no top leaders were killed. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:31. I'm Connie Weber. One person dead after a shooting on Milwaukee's north side happened Tuesday night around 10:45 near the intersection of West Locust and North Vel R. Phillips. Medical examiner's office says 30-year-old Ulysses Turner was shot multiple times, died at the scene. No arrests yet. University enrollment at Wisconsin State Colleges remains near 2024 levels. New day one data from UW System President Jay Rothman indicates around 164,000 students are enrolled across Wisconsin's 13 public four-year universities. New freshman enrollment at 3% across the system. International student enrollment is down. 8 schools saw overall growth, including UW-Madison. UW-Milwaukee's down about 250 students from 2024. There's a new train to ride at the Milwaukee County Zoo. The 15-foot diesel hydraulic locomotive will make its debut Saturday, September 13th. It's been over 30 years since a new train engine has been added to the zoo's fleet. The new train will reduce emissions by 70%, meets the Environmental Protection Agency's cleanest diesel standards. Time for some news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Dow still down 253 points, 45,457. NASDAQ is up 56, 21,936. The S&P 500 is up 24 points at 6,537. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Still very quiet out there. We did have a blockage on the right shoulder due to a disabled vehicle. I-43 south, almost a mile beyond Mequon Road. Looks like that has been cleared off the roadway. No other delays to report this hour. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Slight chance of rain today, high 75. Overnight low tonight, 60. Sunny and nice tomorrow, high 75 lakeside, maybe 77 inland. Partly cloudy, a little warmer on Friday, highs 80 to 85. Chance of showers or storms on Saturday, mostly cloudy, 81 for the high. Sunshine on Sunday with a high of 77. 65 in Madison, 68 in Green Bay, and 69 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:33.
I'm Matt Dorner, CEO of Milwaukee Downtown Bid 21. Our business leaders value downtown Milwaukee.
Hi, I'm Bob Howe, Chief Financial Officer of Fiserv. We love being part of the vibrant downtown community, just blocks from Fiserv Forum, of which we're the naming rights sponsor. We're also proud to be Milwaukee's hometown payments and fintech company. Thanks, downtown Milwaukee.
Get down to business at milwaukeedowntown.com.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Does our Inspired Closets team make dreams come true?
Every day, Dan. From consultation to design to installation, the whole process is built around our clients.
Which is how we earn our 5-star reviews. It's our team that makes the difference.
Inspired Closets is more than just organization. It's an investment in you.
Get started today at inspiredclosets.com.
Inspired Closets Milwaukee, a wife and husband team.
We see you out there building a life you love, knowing that when inspiration strikes, nothing should get in your way. At Blaine's, we're here to help with everything you need to make it happen at prices that make it possible. Like rolls of Maisel welded wire fencing. Rewards members buy one, get one half price. Blaine's brand commercial vehicle batteries, $5 off for rewards members. And 5 gallons of Mystic diesel oil, just $39.99 after sale and rebate. Find value on the things you value. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original.
Gene Miller here for my friends at Hometown Windows and Doors. Unfortunately, it's not too early to start thinking about those upcoming heating bills. At Hometown's huge New Berlin showroom, you can compare energy-efficient windows from Anderson, Pella, Marvin, and more. Like me, you'll get a dedicated project consultant to guide you to the products that best fit your home, style, and budget, along with employee carpenters who respect your home. Do what I did. Contact Hometown Windows and Doors today. Hometown with an E for your every window and door need. 414-329-1200 or online at hometownwindows.com.
Now it's time for Ask Us Anything on Point Taken. Got a burning question? Give us a call or text on the Siding Unlimited talk and text line at 855-616-1620.
Oh, just the Steve version today. Ask Steve anything because Kristen is on vacation until next week. Thanks for all of you who sent questions in. It's 855-616-1620. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ talk and text line. This one goes right, this is from Matt, goes right to what we were talking about before. Do you think our country needs a better focus on civics? I just need people to pay attention to what's going on in their country. If I hear one more person say to me, I got my own stuff to think about, I'm not going to worry, like, shut up. What are you doing? All of these things matter. And whether a high school student loves civics or not, I don't care. Whether a high school student loves math, reading, arithmetic, I don't care. You're taking them, you're going to be proficient at them, and then you're going to have a chance for greater success in life. How did that become a controversial opinion? To use a weird analogy, it's like, and I'm going way out here on this one. How did it become a controversial opinion that people should have to come into this United States of America through a process, not just walking across the border? How did that become controversial? But yet it is, because, elected officials decided not to do anything about it for decades and decades. Yes, we need to focus on civics. Every student in our country should have to pass a test, a citizenship test, basically, even though you are citizens for the most part, to show me that you understand how our government works, why democracy matters. I just saw a poll yesterday. There's a hell of a lot of people who think they want socialism in this country. Are you nuts? Seriously, are you nuts? How's that working out in the places that have it? Not well. Unless you're one of the leaders. Then it's great. If you're the rank and file, the citizenry, not so good. This one from Peter. Any comments on the Trump administration posting video on social media and boasting about sinking last week in international waters a civilian boat killing 11 administration, as Peter says, claimed to be terrorist. One thing I know about this administration, they're a advocate for shoot first, ask questions later. That's dangerous when it comes to international relations. Very dangerous. And if you're paying attention to the news, there's reports from Poland last night that they're now suddenly in the theater of war when it comes to Ukraine and Russia. This stuff matters. You can trot out your macho stuff if you want to do that, and you can, cheer on the performative costume-wearing cabinet secretaries that love to go on these photo ops. I don't care about any of that stuff. Just do your job. I don't need to see you on TV. I don't need you to have the best haircut and all the makeup. Don't need it. Don't care about it. What are you doing? How are you making us safer? How about less posturing, more policy that makes sense? Another question from the Siding Unlimited WTMJ talk and text line, 855-616-1620. Do you play fantasy football? I don't. I used to. Then I realized I was sucking up way too much of my time, and I got stuff to do. Jazz, you a fantasy football player?
I just started doing it this year. I used to never do anything that was even remotely related to betting. The only time I ever bet on football was the time the Steelers and the Seahawks went to the Super Bowl. And I bet on the Steelers, even though my teacher was from Seattle and a Seahawks fan. I didn't tell her I did this, but I did win the bet with my brother.
So do you enjoy your dipping the toe into the fantasy football this year?
I guess I'm picking mostly players from teams I like or teams that are names I recognize.
Or quarterbacks. Who's your quarterback?
Trevor Lawrence.
Oh. That's risky. I mean, it could work out.
You think now I picked the Falcons kicker and they basically just benched him now. So
it's
great.
Never good news for your only kicker. So thanks for that. Thanks for that Jazz, as well. Here's a real obvious question that I didn't even think about. Is it Oak Creek or Oak Creek? With a apostrophe in there. It's Oak Creek. 2 words, not a O apostrophe Creek, although a lot of people say it that way. Somebody asked me, why did you run for mayor of Oak Creek? Great question. I had retired from private sector work after 28 years, Nielsen Company, working in television research. I just didn't like the direction of the city. And they were sort of in that happy to be here mode, which I'm frankly not a fan of for anything, especially when sports fans do it. Oh, my God, we're in the playoffs. But no, I want to win a Super Bowl. I want to win a World Series or win an NBA championship. That's always my goal. Anything less than that, disappointing. So I ran for mayor because I wanted to do different things. I wanted to be a pro-business mayor, and certainly we're doing that with a lot of help. And I take very little credit. Great Common Council led by Ken Gale. I think he's still the Common Council president. Dan Bukavich, who's now the mayor of Oak Creek. A lot of work there. Larry Haskins, city attorney, and Melissa Carl's assistant city attorney, who I think she's now the city attorney. Incredible work. City clerk, Catherine Risky. Leslie Flynn, who did communications. All these people were great to work with. They allowed us to flourish and to sort of have a mission that said, we can be so much better. IKEA, Drexel Town Square. Now they have Amazon down there. Incredible facility. Here's how cool that is. I was just telling this story to a teammate this morning. We could literally go this afternoon, order something on Amazon, and have it at our door in like 3 hours. It's amazing. No gas, no delivery, just a product, whatever it is. I just ordered some Rokus. 3 hours. Are you kidding me? Sign me up. I got some fast food questions. I'll answer those after the break. What's your question for Ask One Day Only? Ask Steve anything. 855-616-1620. Kristen is on vacation. Well-deserved. We'll answer those questions after this on 620 WTMJ.
All different types of injury lawyers advertise. Cartoon lawyers, bobblehead lawyers, and folks chasing ambulances with text messages. Our clients don't want or need such lawyers. Our clients know, like, and trust that Pasternak and Zergabel will help in their time of need. I'm Jeff Zergabel of Pasternak and Zergabel. Frank Pasternak and I are excellent personal injury lawyers in our community. If you need help after an injury, go to Pasternak and Zergabel at injurywisconsin.com. That's injurywisconsin.com.
I'm WTMJ's Sandy Max. What makes senior living at Three Pillars so special? Let's hear from my friend Pam.
Good friends of ours moved there, and they had invited us over for dinner a number of times. And they said, we waited way too long. You should come when you're younger. They had no idea it was going to be this great. There are just so many things to do, and it keeps you young. I mean, we have a lot of residents who are pushing 100. I believe they're there and still alive because of Three Pillars.
Schedule a tour today at threepillars.org.
Hey, boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We've got everything you need but the water. Got an old boat, a new boat in between. Kendor Marine. Upholstery and parts, hard to find things. Kendor Marine. Hey, boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We've got everything you need but the water. Everything you need but the water. Hey, boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We've got everything you need but the water. Like a boat-loving kid in a candy store. Kendor Marine. If you have a question, we have the expertise at Kendor Marine. Hey, boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We've got everything you need but the water.
Easy to find at 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin or at kendormarine.com.
Hey, it's your friend John McGivern. In a world full of chaos, I'm grateful for a health plan that has my back. Network Health is so reliable and trustworthy, they always put me and over 126,000 members first. It's just what they do and what they've always done for over 41 years. Call 833-7-NETWORK today. HMO and POS plans underwritten by Network Health Plan. Compensation has been provided for using this endorsement of Network Health.
Come catch the final battle of the regular season when the Brewers host the Reds Friday, September 26th through Sunday, September 28th. We're celebrating the best fans in the game on Saturday, the 27th at Fan Appreciation Night, presented by Toyota. Plus, if you're one of the first 30,000 fans through the gates, you'll take home a Brewers tumbler giveaway too, presented by Quick Trip. Come close out the regular season with the crew. Get your seats today at brewers.com/tickets.
Take your family to the Mine Shaft restaurant in Hartford or Oshkosh today for the Wednesday all-you-can-eat fish fry and just $7.99. Kids 5 and under eat free from the kids menu. Just walk in for your $7.99 fish fry. It's big food. It's big fun. It's the Mine Shaft restaurant.
Ask us anything, ask Steve anything is the version today as Kristen celebrates her vacation time. Let's see. What did you learn, Steve, from putting you in your greenhouse for gardening? Read a lot, watch a lot on YouTube. There's a lot of things you got to regulating temperature, watering, what to grow in there that's going to thrive in that environment. I've learned a lot. There's still things I have to learn. And I bought a kit. Do your homework on the cost. Do your homework on what they're made of and how they'll last Wisconsin winters. But they are awesome, and I'm really enjoying mine. Let's go to the phone lines. Patty from my favorite city of Oak Creek. Hi, Patty. Patty. Once. There she is. Patty.
Hello?
Yes.
Hey, how you doing, Steve?
I'm great, as always. How are you?
Awesome. I'm fine. I'm great. So, Steve, someday when you retire,
Yeah.
what's your plan? I have some suggestions for you that if you want to do.
All right.
What's your plans? Do you have any?
Travel more. That's the big one because we love to travel, Kathy and I. What's the suggestions? I want to hear those.
Well, my suggestion, Steve, is I thought maybe you could try out to be a Bucks Grand dancer.
Well, that is not happening. You ever see me dance? I am not a good dancer. Now I love the fact that you guys are doing because you are a Bucks dancer, right?
Yes, I am. But I thought it doesn't. I'd love to have you on the team. It would be fun. We could carpool, Steve.
It's a selfish way to try to save gas money. Is that what you're saying to me? Is that what you're doing? I love the idea, but I'm a horrible dancer, and I would leave you with this: no one wants to see that, Patty, except you.
Okay.
All right.
I thought I'd try.
All right. Stay out of trouble.
Take care, Steve.
Yep. See ya. All right. Who's Dwayne? Is it Dwayne? Granville. Where's Granville, Dwayne?
Milwaukee, Northwest Milwaukee.
Oh, Granville neighborhood. Okay. Dwayne, are you there? There he is.
I am here. How are you today, Steve?
I am wonderful on this hump day. What's your question?
Hump day it is. I have a silly question because everybody wants the price of fuel to go down, and it seems like the oil companies aren't responding and building any more refineries so they can keep the fuel prices high. What are your thoughts on that?
Thanks for the question, Dane. Dwayne, I'll let you hang up and listen to the answer. I'm not sure what's going on with energy. That's not a huge topic for my conversation, but obviously the Biden administration pushed back on a lot of that new exploration and development of new refineries. I think we should do what makes sense economically. We certainly have to pay attention to what happens in our environment. I'm not an idiot on that subject, and I understand that conservation, energy conservation, how we treat our natural environment matters. But there's lots of ways we can do these things now that aren't impactful. And whether you're talking about fossil fuels, whether you're talking about solar, I know the president doesn't like wind power, but trust me, there's a place for it. And I would, again, not trying to bash the president, but his knowledge of some of these alternatives is pretty simplistic. He gets basic concepts wrong and doesn't have a really deep understanding of some of the impacts and benefits of some of these alternative systems. So I think that's what frustrates me. But if a refinery makes sense and we can knock down energy prices, because one of the stories that Chris and I were talking about before she went on vacation is this economy is sort of at a crossroads. This is something the president is going to have to pay attention to probably sooner rather than later, is the impact on prices all across the board, not just energy. I had my highest electric bill I've ever had for my house, and I've been in my house since 93. That's not a good development. There's two people living in that house, and we're pretty careful about what we leave on. It's not a good omen or a good indicator of where our prices are going. So that's something the president's going to have to pay close attention to. Somebody said I should retire and be a bus driver. That would be another job I wouldn't have the patience for. I wouldn't ever be a teacher, a traditional teacher, especially elementary. I don't have the patience for. I love older kids, little kids, moms and caregivers. All those folks. You do such a great job. I couldn't even approach the way you do it. Last one from Rich before we go to break. Is it just me, or does this administration appear to be doing all the steps to sleepwalk us into autocracy, along with the potential for a manufactured emergency and National Guard deployment? Yeah, I mean, there's certainly warning signs about that. I don't like where this is going. I will encourage you to watch this program. I just watched it. Bill McCoshen just watched it. Some other friends of mine who are on the program. Frontline, great PBS show, did an episode called Donald Trump and the Rule of Law. And it's very fair. There's Steve Bannon's on there, Mike Davis, a lawyer for the president. Both sides are represented. Just watch this. And one of the fundamental concepts that Bill wasn't even aware of, and I was sort of minimally aware of, was the concept of a unitary form of government and the unitary president. Watch it. Frontline, Donald Trump and the Rule of Law. It is fantastic. It'll sort of fill in some of the gaps on this stuff. It's good TV, something that public broadcasting is good at, and hopefully they continue going forward. Great questions. We'll wrap the show, hand it off to the news updates and Wisconsin's midday program after this on 620 WTMJ.
Your first night camping alone. The new tent, fully set up. Your bug spray, barely keeping up. But you got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with free overdraft protection transfers. So when you bought all those supplies and lost track of your spending, we had you covered. You got this with free overdraft protection transfers from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Hey, WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi. For Milwaukee weight loss, I was talking about this earlier. Yes, I can't believe myself. Yes, I have lost the weight. Yes, I've kept it off. All those questions I get asked all the time. People go, oh, you didn't keep it off. Yeah, I did. And I'm actually in the reduction phase again, trying to lose 10 pounds. So Milwaukee weight loss made that possible. If you're frustrated with the trendy stuff, there's all kinds of ways and diet plans and gimmicks and stuff. Meals, bars, shakes is one of those, and shots certainly. They help me lose the weight without that stuff. It's really just resetting your metabolism so the weight comes off, stays off, and changing your lifestyle, really, how you eat, how much you eat. It's doctor developed and natural. They have great coaches helping thousands of people just like me and potentially you lose up to 10 to 20% of your body weight in just 8 weeks. It's possible. I did it. You can do it. 20, 30 pounds? Sure, in a month or two. Stop the yo-yo stuff. Stop the gimmicks. Smarter, faster, safer way. Reach those weight loss goals. MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com or 262-393-2334. That's 262-393-2334 or MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind, to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my 2 sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-549-8866. 800-549-8866. 800-549-8866.
Remember Marty's Pizza.
Right off I-94 and Highway 83 in Delafield.
Experience, knowledge, results. That's what really matters when you need help after a serious truck accident. You'll need a lawyer experienced in fighting and winning for people just like you. Gruber Law Offices has the resources, strong track record of success, and a team of experienced lawyers to take care of your needs. We've successfully helped people injured in big truck accidents for more than 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Patty's question about retirement. Also, everyone's asking me if I'm going to retire. No time soon. So you're stuck with me and my smart takes, not hot takes. Everybody does hot takes. Man, that's the meat and potatoes of the sports world. Sports hot takes. And you know what? I just went back and watched some of the Packers predictions. I'm also following the Bears now because I love to see the destruction and chaos down there. The Caleb Williams conversation, so everyone's backpedaling on their predictions. He was going to be a superstar, and he may be someday. I'm not wishing him a dire future, but I'm always amazed by the hot takes that pass for smart takes. And I'm not saying everything I say is smart. Sometimes it's shoot from the hip. Sometimes it's just agitated or excited or, as I like to say, pissed off, which I usually get scolded on by a few people for saying. But that's okay. FCC says so far that's okay. And to the texter that said you swear too much, really? I don't swear half as much as most people do, including in this building, by the way. All right. Tomorrow's program. What are we doing? Jeremy Janine's going to join us. My friend Rick Essenberg. I love talking to the president of Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty. Sort of some high-level politics stuff, conservative politics, his thoughts on what the court is or isn't doing. Always enjoy our conversations tomorrow. And then, of course, Jeremy Janine, urbanmilwaukee.com is where you can find his great work. He's always filling us in on the local stories that matter, sometimes more than the national ones. So that's all coming up on tomorrow's program. And, of course, Bill and Joe on Friday. All right, news is next on 620 WTMJ.
There's a lot of noise coming out of Washington these days, but one thing retirees in Wisconsin can't afford to ignore is the new Big Beautiful Bill. Sounds harmless, right? But here's the truth. The changes buried in this bill could have a serious impact on your retirement. At Drake & Associates, we've dug into the details, and we want to make sure you know what's really at stake. The Big Beautiful Bill includes sweeping updates to tax brackets, Social Security,